Yo, welcome to the show. No need for no nonsensical music, all that stuff today. The Denver Nuggets, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is probably the first time since the Nuggets lost at Detroit in 2020. The Nuggets got the doors blown off in Toronto in 2021, and then Game 3 versus the Utah Jazz, they got embarrassed. I'm trying to think where this loss ranks in terms of the most annoying losses they've had. Because you lose tight games all the time. You lose stuff on the road. Memphis, a week and a half ago, they didn't show up. They didn't really care about that game. They just gave it away. In this game, I think the difference is that Memphis game, they literally couldn't hit anything, and they just kind of let it happen at one point. Like, all right, whatever, we out. Today, the Denver Nuggets started today's game versus Chicago Bulls, who are fighting for the play-in in the East. The Nuggets are 7.5 games, now just 7 games above the second seed. Today, they start the game off, Jokic and Vooch, really good friends. They play games together, all this stuff. And Jokic is like doing that little play thing he does at the jump ball because it's like he's getting ready to play like a little kind of pickup game. And he starts doing that head fake stuff and eventually jumps way too early and Vooch ends up getting the ball. And I said, as soon as I saw this on Twitter, that Jokic is going to be playing around the entire game. And he's going to play around. So, of course, Jokic, he plays around. He comes out, not playing no defense, not being aggressive on offense, not giving maximum effort. And the Nuggets were up 12 at one point, and they ended up getting smacked the entire game because they just decide that we're just not going to take this team serious because we know when we get it into the clutch, and I said this before in Twitter Spaces, I said this today, that the Nuggets are going to get into a situation where they're going to try to keep it within 5 or 8. They're going to try to get it down to 5 or 0 with 5 minutes left in the game, and they want to hunt the Chicago Bulls down and give you 5 really good minutes of basketball because right now, again, I've said this before, they have nothing left to play for. Everything about them is staying healthy. Everything about them is locking in. Everything about them is execution. But they're not motivated to play the Chicago Bulls. Just like the other night, they weren't motivated to play the Toronto Raptors. They almost got beat by the Raptors. And so today, you have another opportunity to go 47-19 as opposed to 46-20, which is still a very good record. But then you decide that, okay, because we're up so heavy, we can kind of just mess around. Jamal Murray was terrible. Jokic, terrible. I'm not even going to put on nobody else. I'm going to be 100 with you. I'm not even going to put on nobody else. Jokic had 18, 12, and 8 on 7 of 16, 3 of 9, and then 1 of 4, minus 14 from Jokic. Murray, 11, 2, and 6, 4 of 15, 1 of 7, minus 14. Now, Porter had 12 and 5. He was 5 of 13, 2 of 7. He was only a minus 2, though. Gordon, 17, 9, and 2, 6 of 14, minus 4. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, 5, 2, and 4, 2 of 7, 1 of 4. 3 steals, minus 7. I can deal with that. They weren't hitting shots. But the other 2 dudes, the leader of your team, the 3-time MVP, who, again, I think people on Twitter are trying to get in context of why I'm frustrated. This is nothing to do with them not being the best team in the West, potentially being the best team in the NBA. This has everything to do with the way they handle games. They have been doing this for years. They get into these situations versus teams that they know they can beat. And instead of sometimes putting their foot – and again, let me also be fair. It has not happened often this year. It hasn't. And really, it hasn't happened at all, if we're being fully honest. Now, they let go of the rope in a couple of games, some really bad third quarters, not showing up in the first half. They had a couple games versus Utah versus the Lakers, had another game versus the Mavs. Jokic had 19, 8, and 8. But again, they have 20 losses on the season and 46 wins. So, again, I want to keep everything in context with myself and with you all, that as sucky as it is, it's not – I'm not saying anything about their overall season. It's just they have this habit of if they know they're better than the competition, they will literally mess around until they have to win. And today, because they allow the other team to get on a roll, DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Patrick Williams, and then Nikola Vucevic, They just decided we're just going to run you over. Vooch had 25, 15, and 3. DeRozan, 17, 6, and 8. Levine, 29, 5, and 4. No defense was played. Plus 14 for DeRozan, plus 17 for Vooch, plus 15 for Levine. You would have thought they were the Denver Nuggets. So I'm not actually mad about the outcome as much as I am the execution, as I am the effort, as I am you just flat out didn't care. And you thought you're that good that you're just going to show up and you're just going to get it done. And the facts are the facts are the facts. It's not going to happen. So I am wildly annoyed about that. Wildly annoyed. So I think a lot of this has to do is that we are in a situation where you are having to find reasons to get up for games. I get that. Again, I understand that from a basketball standpoint. But I have watched Jokic for years, bro. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, them or they, however you identify. I have watched them for years where they have gone into playoff games, Utah Jazz, and literally just get smoked. The Clippers, game 1, got smoked. Lakers, game 1, got smoked. Because they just do that. They're like, all right, well, we'll just catch up eventually. And again, you are the hunter, so they're going to do that. I said this today. I think the playoff strategy for the Denver Nuggets is going to be that they're going to get in a situation where they're going to be trying to hunt to get 2 wins immediately to start the series. They want to win both of those home games. They want to go into the opponent's territory each round up 2-0. That will be their game plan. I know they're in a gun for that because I can tell by the way this team is constructed and why the way they move, the way they play. But the issue is that some of the stuff that you need to fix is stuff like this. And this is not an indictment on the job of Michael Malone or Jokic or Murray as players as much as it is you just decided that you just didn't want to get it done tonight. And then you decided that we're so much better than the Chicago Bulls, which you are from a talent execution standpoint, but they're NBA players who are playing for something. They're trying to get into the playoffs, and you were just lollygagging. Just lollygagging. Like, Jokic hasn't had, man, I'm not even going to look at the game log, bro. I'm not even going to look at it. I can't even tell you I can't even tell you, like, with the last, like, how many shots he's been averaging over the last several games. I couldn't even begin to tell you. Yeah, I'm just frustrated. Like I said, it's not a big deal. I understand. It's just, you know, when you spend time with somebody, when you spend time watching a team, you know their personality. Like, you know who they are. You know what they're made of. You know why they do what they do. You know when they're going to pick it up. I know Jamal Murray can have a bad first 3 quarters and be really, really elite in the 4th quarter. I know that he's going to do that. He doesn't just have bad 4 quarters. Well, not anymore, at least, hopefully. But Jokic, I know that Jokic, when he's on, when he needs to be there, he's going to lock in. But again, Jokic has this thing where he is still working through being a high-level playmaker, high-level facilitator, high-level team player, but sometimes that morphs from I'm going to take 20, 25 aggressive shots to I'm going to take 10, 11 shots because I want to get everybody involved and I want to play make to I'm going to take 10 or 11 shots because I don't really want to score. And I don't want to be aggressive. And that's what he does. And he started the game off like that today. And then he ended up shot chucking 9 3-pointers today for no reason. Why? Because they were down. Because Jokic didn't want to get down there and bang. And because Jokic was so out of the rhythm. Did he average in 10 shots a game since the All-Star break, Tom? Can you confirm that for me? StatMuse or Basketball Reference or something like that. But that's what I mean. But again, they're playing so well. So this is what I mean. This is what I mean. I understand that he's done it. But again, since the All-Star break, they are now 4-2. And they should have been 5-1 today. They're 4-2 with 2 blowout losses. 4-2 with 2 blowout losses. They lost by 18 to the Grizzlies. lost by 21 to the Bulls. And then they proceeded to beat the Grizzlies by double-digit points. And then, they just do stuff like that, man. They just have these streaks in them where they'll lollygag and they'll play around for so long that they'll just think they can just press the gas whenever they want. And then you get in these situations where you lose and you get blown out. So it is what it is, man. The bench wasn't good. Reggie and Thomas Bryant and everything else, it doesn't look great. They're not playing super strong. Thomas Bryant, turnovers today, fouls, just sloppy with his feet. Again, I would rather play Zeke Naji right now, for me personally. I'd rather play Zeke Naji in a playoff matchup right now, I think. Better defender, better shooter, and he just kind of gets it a little bit more. I think Thomas can play in some matchups, but he just doesn't have like the footwork and the basic basketball understanding. So again, as there are many people that are bringing up on my Twitter timeline right now, the game itself is not a big deal. It's just the process. It's the execution. It's the consistency of the process. It's the decision making. It's the aggressiveness from the best player in the NBA. The difference between Jokic and Giannis is 100% every game, like Westbrook. Jokic varies between 100% as a playmaker, defender, passer, scorer, rebounder. And he kind of like fluctuates between those things, but he does every one of those things at such a high level. And when he gets into a playoff situation, he's a gunner and he's going to hunt you down. And he's done this versus the Warriors, did it even at times versus the Suns, did it versus the Blazers. He had these 10-point stretches versus the Lakers multiple times, did it versus the Clippers, did it versus Utah, did it versus the Blazers the year before, did it versus the Spurs. So with all of that stuff, a lot of this comes down to Jokic, Murray, Malone. You're 46-20. So you have a 7-game lead from the second seed. You cannot take advantage of the game. You cannot disrespect the game. And it's that simple. You got to play. You got to commit to play. And you just got to get it done. I know that you don't want to play the Bulls. They're not a good team. There's no value in this game. I understand that. But at the end of the day, you have to get it done. And you have to lock in. And that's all people are asking for. If you lose with effort. And again, I want to stress this. They're 4-2, and their 2 huge losses are by 18 points and 21 points. What do you think that means? They just let the foot off the gas. They came back from the All-Star break like this. But they've also been getting some really good wins as well. So it's all of it is in concert. None of this is all set apart by itself. The Nuggets are still an elite team. Well, I'm going to say that's still. The Nuggets are an elite team, one of the best, maybe I think 2 teams in the NBA, I might say, based on my preseason prediction. But they also, when they play around with their food, they're so used to being able to catch up and get by you and beat you in the clutch. The problem is, though, is that you have to be able to lock in on a moment-by-moment basis, a game-by-game basis, and take that game for what it is as an opportunity to make a statement. So, yeah, I get you. I understand the frustration. I know that the many of you that watch this, I get the frustration. I think a lot of this just comes down to, man, the Nuggets. This has been a part of who they are, since we entered the Jokic era, basically. They do this from time to time. It's frustrating, but, nothing to worry about. But y'all my people. Hey, we suffer together. We go through these just nonsensical games together. I appreciate y'all swiping in. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. We're on the way to 10,000 subscribers. By the way, Mile High Sports, shout it out. Another episode coming Thursday. Hey, y'all, I'll catch y'all later. See y'all soon.